Hello, everybody. How's it going? My name is Klaus. This is my house, and today we're going to build at Finch Farm. Now, I originally had an idea of how I was going to go about building this settlement, and you can get up there. You can get up there. So basically, that changes things ever so slightly. Not a ton. I still want to do one thing, but you know what? I should check. Whew, that was kind of close. Klaus, be careful. Um, uh, we need this one. Oh, yeah. Yep, that is going to do just fine. Let's see. Well, I'll figure out how I want to do that, but this is actually really good news because it's going to make things a little bit cleaner in the long run. So we are going to end up building up there, but that's not going to be like the main thing. This is, god damn, this is going to be like a central trading hub, right? So I essentially have a few options that I could really go with. Now, to be honest, like I said, I did have a plan coming into this build of exactly what I wanted to do. Now, that hasn't necessarily disappeared, but I will say that it has been complicated by the fact that we can go up there. Not complicated in a bad way of like what I was thinking won't work anymore. Just I'm going to end up doing probably a lot more than what I was originally planning on doing. Like I said before, this is... Maybe we should move this as well, just to kind of get things going. Oops. Can't put that under the ground at all. Well, it kind of is what it is, I suppose. So I was originally planning to have kind of like a little fortified trading center over here, similar to what you see at Bunker Hill. But it doesn't really seem super viable now that I know I can build up there. So I still need to do kind of like a reception area for all of the trading. And more or less, I'm just going to leave this farm the way that it is. A decent amount of food. It would be definitely more food if I had more people. Daniel Finch, Abigail Finch, this is Abraham Finch. Okay. So yeah, once I have more than just these three people, it will obviously be a little bit better. But we're basically going to start this off by just trying to kind of flatten this area out by doing this type of deal. And how it eventually figures itself out in the long run is yet to be seen. Oh, I didn't turn God mode on. Let's go do that then. Whoopsie daisies. But yeah, more or less. Ah, son of a bitch. That's how we're gonna do it. Gonna end up building around this way, and we'll eventually wall off the farm over here. Like, we're still gonna make it accessible, but I'm gonna use junk walls to try and ensure that we at least keep this little farm area safe. And it's gonna be down, right? So I'm thinking that we have an entrance either over here or maybe even down there. You have to walk up that way, and then you kind of take some stairs and find your way up to this side here. And all in all, I'm thinking that's probably the best way to go about it. I need this one anyway, I suppose. I would almost like to go further in. How far away are we out over here? Pretty decent amount, actually. Could definitely do something else. If we just take this and move it ever so slightly that way, and see where that ends up getting us in the long run. Whoops. There we go. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to redo this, and I will see you once that's all done. Okay, so for the most part I am back. I rejiggered everything over here, and you can see I kind of actually changed some stuff up over here as well, which I thought was actually kind of nice. So more or less I made it look like this is kind of all floored in as well. Not a bad idea. Probably would have been, instead of doing these 4 small ones, to do like the platform ones that kind of make it more like this, and kind of go about doing it like that. But it is what it is a little bit. Now I also did these stairs here, and I basically just used regular old clipping stuff. Now I feel a little bit bad maybe doing the clipping stuff, because it's harder for console players to mess around with it. Now, I know the rug trick basically allows you to do that, so that's my excuse for using the console commands to allow clipping. But more or less, I constructed this off of 2 different stairs. So the one is obviously attached there, and it doesn't come quite down all the way, so I took another 2 stair like that, and I just overlaid it on this bottom step there. So it kind of looks like a nice contiguous 3 stairs. It works just fine. I'm sure people can use it. That way we can keep the original Finch house, and I don't know exactly how we're going to go about doing that, but I'm pretty much just going to leave this here and kind of call it home for them for the most part. This might end up becoming like some sort of shanty shack for somebody. Yeah, I don't really know at the moment. But I also did like leave another step down that's just kind of the dirt, and we could get around through this way as well. Now, that being said, it's probably a wise idea to add some more stairs just in case. It's always nice to have stuff all over the place, so that if I do just end up, I fell down, I can get right back up. But that being said, it might also not be a bad idea to try and kind of, you know, block some of this in using our fantastic little railings here. And I do like these ones. They look a little bit nicer, but they're still shitty enough, if that makes any sort of sense. So it basically works out, in my opinion. And we'll just do this all the way around town. Alright, so this is pretty much our base, and we're going to build off of here. And when I say base, I don't mean base like this is it, yay. I'm just saying this is like the base kind of that we're going to build off of, and I still need to draw it out a little bit. Now I'm going to pull it in here, and I think probably from here take it out. That way I don't have to worry about that corner, because when I get in here, at a certain point I'm going to have to cut it back in. And I don't mind leaving this out like that. I don't mind having a little poke out over here. But yeah, after that, it's going to be kind of annoying. I don't want to have little poke outs everywhere. That just doesn't fly with me right now. Oh, there's some stuff that might want to kill me one day. Like I said, we are going to end up not screening, but you know, filling a lot of this in. Yeah, that's too far out. Take that one. A lot of people are saying also that, you know, I should be storing instead of scrapping, which I would agree with, but I'm using God mode. So for me, it's really not that big of a deal. If I was on console, you better believe I would not be scrapping like I'm doing. It's just honestly quicker for me to hit the scrap and yes button than it is to do store. Are you sure you want to store? And all that crap. All right, so that's probably pretty good. I just want to see if we're floating. No, we are not. We're probably on the verge of floating, however, and that is more or less okay. Um, I do, however, want to get something, maybe lined up as much as possible, which is going to be a little difficult, I think. Good. I just want it down, but like not very far down. I think something like this is probably the best. And then if I could snap it, that would honestly be the best thing that could happen. But I don't think that's necessarily the case. So I'm gonna just have to trust in my eye, which sometimes can be tricky. Because you definitely don't want to mess it up that bad. Okay, so like this line obviously is not working. Swear to God, I just heard someone at my door. What about this one? Does that seem... It's probably actually just a little, ever so slightly off to the left. That might be okay. Let's just build it out and see what happens. If I see it start to come off of the wall, yeah, we're just a little bit too far. That might be better. It might not be. I'm gonna try and dial this in. I don't want it to be super boring for you to just watch me do this wall like 4 times to get it right. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so we're back again. This actually came out really, really well, and you can kind of, if I can get it here, you can see that we're really good. Like we're right on there, and then more or less, these guys are pretty lined up as well. They're probably, oh god, I don't know, just ever so slightly off, but you can't even tell in the whole scheme of things. So that's really the important part. Again, sometimes you do things and you don't necessarily need to do them that way. If you can't get it perfect, you can't get it perfect, and that is okay. Part of the process is really this organic style of building, as it were. Oh, like I said, I was only going to come out to here, right? Because I'd have to deal with this corner, which actually is not necessarily that bad. The way to test out how bad it is if I can get a wall, and I can't get a wall, so that means I should be able to get any sort of fence that I might want to put there or something like that. And you know what, just for shits and giggles, let's go ahead and do that. And again, I should test maybe if these go. That one goes there, that one goes there. Cool, so we're all good there, which is actually really, really good news. And then for this part, we are going to need to go down a little bit. This isn't quite far enough, which is okay. Excuse me. I might cough here and there. I still do have the whole cold thing going on. If we can do that. Can I get... No, I cannot. Okay, then let's not go out that far. Let's only go till here. And that would be too far out, which is perfectly fine. There we go. And I'm thinking pretty much at this point, it's probably okay to start building even lower now. The question is really, what do I want to do with this area over here? Do I just build like a ladder straight down? Which would end up going into the ground. My big thing is that I don't want to make it so that no one can get up there, because that would just not be fun overall. I think basically what I'm gonna have to do is like another set of these, and we're just gonna try and get them lined up as perfect as possible. And that actually seems pretty damn good, just even right off the bat. Why? Collision's on, man. There we go. All right. So this guy is actually more or less okay. What is going on? Just a little bit out. You know what? And that's probably... Yeah, that was probably just a lining up issue. Why are you letting me grab you sometimes, but not other times? How do we do that? Alright, so we're actually too far in now. Come on. It's looking better. You know what? I think this is actually it right there. Cool. All right, so now you can actually deal with the nonsense like me. As you can see, I didn't use any clipping there or anything like that, so you guys feel free to replicate any of these processes that you're seeing. Oops. Let's pull that guy back up. And again, that doesn't really need to be there. And more or less, what we should be able to do is create some level of something here. There we go. There we go. Great. That might be too far out, all things considered. we'll see. Okay, let's test our little our fancy guys on all these corners. This one will get it right. That one will get it. Well, you though, you won't go. Okay. I would like to remove that one, and that should be fine. Now we're probably a little bit above what we would ideally want. That's okay. We can work with that. Okay. So, more or less, it's undid fixed. I just didn't want it to be popping out, and you can see, actually, it's not popping out. It's just, like, just in there. So, more or less, these guys are fairly straight stairs, up and down. Hopefully, people will move up them without too much hesitation. Because, again, this is a place where we are going to try and be receiving our shipments and stuff like that. So we want those to all be safe. You know what? I need to test this out now. Yeah, okay. So clipping is an issue. No. There we go, and this should go right back in there. Cool. Y'all ready? And there we go. So we've got our stairs here. Oh, that was weird. Didn't want me to go down. Our stairs there. And more or less a reception area. These ones here, this is kind of where we're expecting to get the people that were... Are those people or just random Brahmins? Those might just be random Brahmins. But this is essentially where we're hoping to receive most of our peoples. So let's go ahead and get some of this going. Oh, there we go. Mm-hmm. All right. And again, these little fences are partially for defense and partially for looks. So we definitely want people to be able to get in this way. But at the same time, we want to be able to hide behind something's being shot at, and we also don't want to make it easy for people to like walk up onto our walls. This is Fallout. It is a Bethesda game. People will glitch. Where's resources? Miscellaneous. And I need this one. Why are you not showing me? There we go. That was very odd. Alright, so we're just going to try and put all the Brahmin traps here. Essentially, what we're doing is trying to ensure that our Brahmins are going to stay over on this side when the caravans come and all that good stuff. Alrighty, so that should be enough. I mean, 4 is a lot. You know what? Let's put 5. We'll put one right here. And we can have a Brahmin shield if we ever get attacked. It'll just be like, oh, right there. Oh, yeah. The other thing I might want to do is, like, for my own settlers, I have, like, a little scavenging station kind of set up. Kind of doesn't seem like a bad idea. A majority of this game, honestly, especially if you're on consoles, and it's not to be mean or anything, is really looking for resources. And these scavenging guys can be a great way to try and lessen some of that stress of constantly looking for the next piece of steel. go. It doesn't quite... This does not quite go the way that I would like it to go. You know what? Maybe what we do is we do something like this. And then on either side. Something like that. Hopefully this won't actually get in the way of us walking around. Actually, I'm really surprised that won't go further in. Alright, I think that's pretty good right there. And then let's go again with our rickety walls. We gotta go back over to our building supplies. And then I'm doing this like as much vanilla-y as I can. So I think everything I've done so far is part of the vanilla game. So don't you be worried about that. People that are really trying to replicate this without mods. It is very, very possible to do all this. Even the stuff that I do use with mods tends to not be that I don't know, that much due to the mod. Like I'll use like a different wall. You know, with that point of view, that doesn't really limit someone that doesn't have mods. It just means that you're not going to have something that looks, you know, exactly the same way. Let's go with stuff like this up here, because I like these ones. And we kind of vary the type of fences that we're using. The railings, as it were. We're going to just kind of like regularly fill in this area over here. With the junk walls, we're not really going to worry too much about it. I'm thinking we might also want to put like a junk fence right there. I suppose it makes the settlement more vulnerable over here, but I think the main settlement is really going to be up there. So yeah, our food is down here. Our power probably should not be down here. Our water will end up being down here. We can even have food up top, though, now that I'm thinking about it. Shit, we could even have some other stuff. I'm just worried about traders, honestly, because like I said, I have all of my supply lines running to here. And who knows what that's going to end up looking like in the long run. One of those things. One of those things. Alright, let's go ahead and stop thinking. Start testing. You know what? And in fact, I want to get rid of this. There we go. Calm down, McCready. Calm down. Alright, we don't want that. We don't necessarily need that. That's probably too far in. You know what? This might be the time for a curve. Like if we came directly in on it like that. Let's just imagine that that is the case. Okay. So this is pretty much what I was talking about. Overall, it doesn't look that bad at all. There's a little bit of a gap, and that's okay. But it's kind of like the same gap everywhere. And it makes sense that it's there. Again, I've gone to small lengths to try and make this not interfere too much with itself. Now, if you guys are on consoles, this is still totally possible. You can place the concrete blocks within the concrete blocks, which I've done in a couple places. But the thing is, you would have to do it by snapping. So like you would really need to have this one lined up out here first, and then you would snap this one in, and it would go. But that sort of judgment is going to take a lot better eye than what I've just done by using the console commands. So that is a thing, FYI, that you should probably be aware of. Now, like the other one, it would be really, really baller if I could actually place something in here, which it doesn't look like I can. So this one has something about it. Something about it. And if I can, from this point on, I would really, really like to put stuff there. All right, and let's go ahead with another ladder. Boom. We're getting very, very close. Very, very close indeed. I'm going to try and come back and make this look like it's, realistic, more or less. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to happen. It just means that I'm going to try and do it. Actually, this might end up being okay. Now that I'm looking at it. I mean, from the aspect of I'm thinking stuff and I'm not telling you guys. It's okay. I promise it's okay. It'll be all right. I really, really wish that I could go ahead and put more stuff in there of this nature. That would be really cool, Make me feel like this is less of a piece of poop. But all in all, if it looks okay from the end, or if I can kind of figure out a way about this, a way to go about it. I know that there are these are shack supports. I don't think these snap or anything like that. This is where people yell at me for not using place anywhere. Ah, yes, the pier. The famous pier. Okay. We'll see how this goes. It looks like it's gonna end up being all right. It's like okay in certain spots, but not all of them. Is that what you're telling me? Is that what we're getting at here? All right, I think what we're gonna have to do is get a little wonky on it. Huh. How do we do something? Okay. Well, that doesn't work. I want to come up with something, though, that doesn't look absolutely ridiculous. Like, this looks just ridiculous. put another one, right? And I could stack another one on top of it, like that. I think that's a winner. Something like that. Damn it. All right. Oh, yeah. Yep. I just need you to actually go more up like that. Alrighty. No one's going to really be able to tell anyway by looking at it. So, should just do that. And then that can go there. And then I think we need to go up just like that amount-ish. Yeah. Yep, that's what we needed to do. Ho ho ho. Ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. So yeah, I could have done it like that, but whatever. TCL. Alright. Some more wonkiness, but wonkiness that works. How much do I like that? How much do I hate it? I think it looks okay. Yeah. Alright. You know what? I like it. I love it. This is the way that we're going to end up doing it. And maybe only there. Maybe back around this way. The only problem is we would end up building on top of that, which makes me nervous. Not that I need to be nervous. I'm actually going to probably fix this because that doesn't line up necessarily the right way either. But yeah, we're going to basically leave it off here. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you have, please let me know down below in the comments section. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day, great night, whatever it is to you, and I will see you back here next time when we continue building at Finch Farm.